What's going on, everybody? John Eric Poli here with My MMA News, and my voice is a little hoarse. I'm recording this interview today. It's the day after the Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley fight, so I was out all night talking to a lot of different people with it. So excuse me, I'm a little hoarse here, but we're not here to hear me today. We're here to hear from our guest, and today's guest is Sarah Alpar, who fights Erin Blanchfield at UFC Vegas 37. That fight date is September 18th. Sarah, how you doing? Thank you so much for being here today.
I'm doing great. It's been a good Monday so far, and happy to be alive and present and ready to get the week started. So thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem at all. We're looking forward to seeing this upcoming fight. And let's start getting into the fight related things here first. And we'll start with your training camp. I know as we're recording this, like September's literally like tomorrow. So I know you're going to start winding things down. You're about 2.5 weeks out from fight night. But just how's camp going as you've been putting in these now final steps before fight night?
Yeah, man, it's been really good. It's been great. I've gathered a really good support system around me. I have wonderful people surrounding me and just giving me good energy. And I'm grateful for this experience and, what my body's doing through this camp and just how everything's been, all the people I've met the last couple months. It's great. It's cool to love your career like I do. It's special.
Definitely is, and I can imagine being in your shoes right now. You must be chopping at the bits to get back inside of the octagon because a few months ago you were actually scheduled to fight, and at the last minute your fight was canceled. Your opponent had some visa issues. So just how excited are you to now finally get back inside of the octagon and get to compete once again?
Yeah, I'm super stoked. I wish I got to fight in May, but I mean, with everything going on, now, fighters need to consider that COVID is a thing. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be a part of us, and it could be, it's always a factor that's going to be around. So I hope that Stephanie has gotten better and got through it. I had COVID back in last November. It's not fun. I've had people pass away. There's been like death in the family and death around. Like it's crazy. So it sucks, but like you can't blame anybody or anything for it, and especially for fighters when you're coming down to fight week. Your immune system is probably really shot. You're cutting calories. You're training extra. You're getting ready to go, so you're left vulnerable to COVID. But it's still, what. Something I heard, when you have tests, then you have testimony, right? So, all this stuff that had started like falling down around me. Didn't get the fight. I was in, a lot of financial trouble, and, God shined his face upon me. And now, like, I am where I'm at now, and I've had a great camp. I'm dropping a weight class, and I get to fight Erin. And I'm just, I'm living the dream and pursuing my goals, and things have just been just rich. I'm so happy where I'm at right now. So.
Yeah, you definitely seem like you're in a good headspace, and everything happens for a reason. That's what everybody always says. And now I do want to ask you about Erin. I know you said how excited you are to be fighting her. Just tell us a little bit about Erin as you've been preparing for and studying her, and what you see in her as an opponent, and what it's going to take to get a win on fight night.
Yeah, I think it's great. She's definitely going that for and pursuing the same goals as I am. And, I love to compete, and I think it's going to be a great fight. We have big hearts, and we're great competitors, and we're going to have just an awesome time. And it'll be cool to see the turnout, like who wants it? Who wants it? Let's go, Erin. Let's go, Sarah. Like, it's so I'm excited to be able to fight her and have her fight me. It's great.
So now, while this is actually your third fight camp, it is actually going to be your just second fight now in the UFC. Do you feel more relaxed this time around? Because I can imagine, like, no matter what you do in life, the first time you do something, it's just so hectic and chaotic. So Are you more relaxed now going into your second UFC fight as maybe opposed to how you were in your first one?
Yeah, so I have a huge advantage for this fight too. I've been working with my study minds, and Dr. Seth Hickerson has been helping me out. So my headspace is so much better. And it's not even just for this fight, it's just my life in general. So I feel really good about just everything that's going on. And I'm focused on being, present, not focused on what's in the future or what happened in the past. I'm here now, and it's this fight. And I never take any fight for granted. Like, every fight is important. Every single fight that you have, it takes you to get to the next level. So if that resonates to anybody, you should take every single fight, no matter who it is, because anything could happen. You need to take it important and train your hardest and do all the things, and no regrets. just just make it happen. It's your career. So
You were talking there with mental headspace, and it's funny. I just did an interview about maybe a month ago with Tisha Torres at her fight, and she was talking about the importance of mental health. And we're starting to see a lot of this in sports now. Like Naomi Osaka in tennis brought it to the forefront when she was skipping out of a few major tournaments because she was having just a hard time dealing with media asking her questions and just the pressure of competing. Aaron Rodgers, I'm a big Green Bay Packers fan. He's been talking recently about how he spent his whole offseason with the drama going on with the team, where he was focusing on mental health. In MMA, like I said, Tisha just did it. Macy Barber's been talking about it. Just how important is it that we realize in sports that there's this huge mental side of things, as opposed to, no matter what sport it is, I know everybody's focused on the actual game or the match itself, but there's a whole mental side of things in sports.
Oh, 100%. I think that's super important. Dr. Seth tells me that the body doesn't control the mind controls the body. And, you can be in shape, you can be in the best shape of your life, but if you're not 100% in shape in your mind, you'll fail. And this isn't anything that's new, like Tiger Woods has done it for such a long time, and all the people who have greatness to them, they have a great mindset. Everything starts in the headspace and in your mind. So being able to jump on board with that is an advantage, and I feel great. Like you get a little injury because like my headspace is so much better. It's like, it's not a big deal. I'm like, that's fine. We're gonna be good, and it's just that your outlook on life is just better. So I think it's super important. I think everybody needs to jump on board and or maybe not. Like, I need that advantage, right?
Well, I'm glad that you're feeling better too. And I'm a big component when it comes to mental health stuff too. It's very important to focus on that type of stuff. And now, Sarah, if it's okay, I would want to get back on, I guess, a little bit more fight specific things. I did want to ask you, you briefly mentioned how you dropped down recently. You're now fighting at flyweight as opposed to bantamweight. Just how are you feeling fighting at flyweight and adjusting to a new weight class as opposed to what you fought in for most of your career?
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I've been wanting to go to flyweight for a while now. I just feel more comfortable being there. Bantamweight at the time, because my body was just going through it. Like, just my adrenals were messed up. I was getting off of birth control. Like a lot of women, if you're on birth control now, they're showing signs that, like, it's just not good for you. I mean, it has purpose. We don't want babies, like, okay, that's great. But like, it just, I felt like that caused a huge toll on my body, and just things that had happened in my life, just like a lot of adrenaline was just constantly running through me, and it messed me up for a little bit. I still, I trained hard, I worked hard, but it was just like the weight was not coming off. So now I got everything back in control, and I said, all right, let's go flyweight. And I got a new coach, Justin Stone. We're at Southside Kickboxing out in Oklahoma now. I hooked up with him, and he's been amazing and so helpful, and he's smart too and understanding. So I think that's been a huge help with me. Everything's worked out so much better, and like my body feels great. I'm ready to make the flyweight weight class my home and see what I'm about, see how I do. I already feel better, like I feel like everything's quicker, and like I said, everything in here is so much better too. So we'll see how it goes. And really, like, above all, when I won Contender Series, it was like, I want to be flyweight, and I was like, okay, I'll get that. And I haven't been able to reach my half of the deal. So it feels good to finally be like, all right, like here we are. I like to stick to my word, so I'm happy to do that and show them what I'm about.
And now you gave a big shout out there to your coaches down there in Oklahoma City. I did want to ask you that I saw on Instagram where you were doing some training down with Jackson Wink in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Obviously, that's a world-renowned gym. Just what was that experience like, getting to go there and do some work with some of the best fighters in the world down there?
Yeah, so like after my fight got canceled in May, and I was already struggling kind of with partners. My main partner, Christina Williams, she was out with an injury, and we're just like, we need to test you and get you training partners and get that going. As much as like you can have like a 125-pound guy, but it's still a guy. Like, it's just different. I needed some good women to train with. So I went down to Jackson's. I've been there before, and I really like those guys out there. The coaches there are great, and I really appreciate them, and the girls there are of course phenomenal. I've gone out, traveled to Texas. I've gone out to Fortis, check that out, and that was an awesome experience too. So I hope I can go down there. And then Genesis, I went I've been everywhere. I went to Genesis, trained with Montana, and of course she's always a phenomenal partner. And I went down to train with Lauren Murphy also, and she's great. Getting to know her story and who she is, like, definitely she's my new favorite fighter of all time, and just like I really look to her and look up to her like that. Like, I don't know, she's just amazing. So I've been everywhere. And I'm hoping to still be able to train and explore and see how everybody does things and grow. So all of it's been great.
I bet. And now, Sarah, I do want to end talking with the fight between Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley. And we'll get into the specifics with the fight here, but you're, of course, very well known now from being tied in with, I guess, Jake Paul to a degree, because he donated to your GoFundMe page. I do want to ask you about the fight, like I said, later on, but let's just talk about that donation you made. Just how happy were you that you got that, and just how beneficial was it as somebody that's in an up and coming spot where your pay isn't as high as obviously the champion of the world, for example, as you're just getting started. So just how beneficial was it that Jake made the donation to your fight camp like that?
Oh yeah, it made my camp. It made everything possible. He changed my life overnight, literally overnight. And I'm just blessed to be able to have something so great as that. It wasn't, my intention at all to get that type of attention. I just needed, some sponsors to get through camp and to make, stuff happen. I was really, really struggling. And that's normal, like fighters when they're just getting started, even, just making it into the UFC. It's almost the expectations even greater, because you're trying to work even harder, and now you're in the big show, and then you're still working. It's just this weird, like, gray area where, you just have to get yourself up, and going. So, for me, like, I just, like, it was so special to have that. And now I get a chance to fully train like I want to. And, it's like, I'm just super grateful. Like, I can't express that enough. So it was awesome.
It's funny. I always tell people that they don't realize, because they think, they see the UFC being advertised on ESPN all over the place, and they always ask me, like, oh, those fighters have to be loaded with money. And it's actually the opposite. Like, yeah, sure, the ones that are the champions, the ones that are well known, different story. But for people like you, it's got to be a struggle every single day, because obviously not only is your pay not as much through the company, but at the end of the day, you still have to pay out gym, coaches. I believe there's some fees, right, to get like state licenses and whatnot. So there's a lot behind the scenes that people don't realize. It's a very tough gig as an up and coming fighter, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it really is. It was something like, it came to a surprise to me. Like, I always thought when I first started fighting and stuff, it's just like, oh, once, I make it to UFC, everything's taken care of, and, my life will be good, and I won't have to work anymore, this and that. And it's not like that. But like, I never blamed UFC for those things. Like, it was just something just like, oh, okay, well, I'm not there yet. Okay, let's, keep going. Like, it was never something in my mind like, no, this is your fault or anything. Like I never thought anything of it. I just, just like, okay, we'll keep on grinding, figure out a way, I better make bills this month. Like, oh, I got to get more fights. It's just like, just never came to my mind. So, but yeah, I'm hoping I want to get more fights, a few fights in before the year's up, and increase that. And so, gonna, get that money. Like, I want to make things happen. I want this to be my career. That's also something that Justin Stone, my coach, that he sat down with me. He's like, you want a job or a career? Like, you don't want to be working at Starbucks your whole life. That's a job. Like, UFC is your career, and we can make that happen. And he helped gather that mindset and do all the things. And I'm really ready to make that happen. And now that everything's piecing together like it is, like, let's do it. I'm ready to make that career and get that money and take care of my family. And it would be really cool to get to where I'm comfortable enough and standing on my feet, and my family, like, we're on this great foundation that then I could help someone else and get them on their feet. Maybe, I don't know, do a fighter scholarship, or just to do something to help another fighter get to where I'm at, and give them what Jake gave to me. I think that would be awesome. We're all in this together. I'm ready to help people the best way that I can. So.
And now I know there's been a push, at least in the boxing world. I did an interview recently with Tim Witherspoon, who was a boxing champ, a heavyweight champ back in like the 80s. And he just fought on one of the celebrity boxing cards recently, because he said he blew through all of his money when he was younger, and that there should be a fighters union. And that's what he believes would be an answer to having, I guess, some of these pay issues throughout the combat sports, I guess, in general. Do you know, like, would you be on board with maybe something like what he's going with? Is there like a solution that you have in mind to kind of make things, I guess, easier for fighters, not only in your spot of just being an up-and-comer, but long-term with people that have made money, have blown through it, that there's no kind of security balance there?
Yeah, that would be great. Because other sports, and I ask, people going into the pros, like, I really like asking other sports and how, like, they have things done, and the difference, because I'm so involved in, like, just my little world. So expanding into what other athletes have going for them. Like, I think, football players, they sign a deal, and they have, it's set no matter what they play, like, they have a salary. I think something like that would be really beneficial, or, hey, you're going to get paid to train. We don't we put in the hours, but it's kind of like the intern hours of volunteer. So I think it would be super cool to, like get paid for like have a year salary, and to get that, or to have, something like every month we'll give you this much endorsement or something, so that we can focus on, better training and our nutrition, and just like, our bodies are our work. So, to keep that healed up. And I think you'd see less injuries. I think you would see better fights, because fighters just don't have to worry about all that extra stuff. I mean, you think about financials, like everybody stresses on that, especially right now. We're in a pandemic, like you see signs everywhere. It's like, hey, we're short workers. Please be generous to the ones that are working right now. People are working really hard. So I think something like that would help out a whole lot.
And finally, Sarah, we'll get your thoughts on the fight last night. I'll give you mine real quickly. I thought Jake won that fight convincingly. I had it definitely 6-2. I thought one round you could have made a case for Tyron. I thought worst case scenario would be 5-3. Split decision, I was shocked at. Just what were your thoughts on the fight last night?
Yeah, I thought it was great. Of course, I mean, I'm definitely a Jake Paul fan. I root for him. I've gotten to like speak with him and, get to know a little bit more who he is. So my heart was with him. Sorry, Tyron. Come have a cup of coffee with me, man. Maybe we can even the score, get to know you too. But I'm really happy that Jake won. He's a hard worker. I think people underestimate him and what he's capable of. And he's got a good thing going for him. And I hope he continues to excel, and he's he stirred the pot a little bit, but he's bringing issues and things out that need to be out. So like, Jake, you keep doing you, and I'm glad to have his support on to be on Team Too Sweet, part of the Too Sweet tribe. So just cool. Like, you go, guy, you go.
And speaking of the Too Sweet tribe there, go ahead, give yourself a plug for social media. If you want to give a shout out to any management sponsors, anybody you got to give a shout out to, please feel free to do so.
Yeah, so please follow me on Instagram, Too Sweet Alpar. The Twitter. Working on the Twitter. Oh, the Twitter. Yeah, I want to thank my study minds and Stretch U. John Kerry's been helping me with my strength and conditioning PT, Brooks and Chiropractic, OK Cryo, and Little Pizza. All these guys have done so much to take care of me and to help me with my camp on a daily and weekly basis. So I really appreciate them. I thank all my fans and family. I couldn't be here without all the great people who love me and support me. So I appreciate it all. Thanks, Southside Kickboxing. If you're ever in Moore, Oklahoma, come check them out. That's where we're at. We train hard. Go TKO. Team TKO. Let's go.
All right, guys, there you have it. That was Sarah Alpar. Again, her fight with Erin Blanchfield is at UFC Vegas 37. That date is September 18th. So make sure you guys check out that fight, and make sure you guys are checking out MyMMANews for all of the great content that comes out 7 days a week there. And make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel as well. We'll see you later, everybody.